Commissioner Kershner is not present. Commissioner Emerson is also not present. Commissioner Momsen?
Here.
Commissioner Smull is also not present. Commissioner Van Wagner?
Present.
Commissioner Knudsen?
Here.
And Vice Chair Schlelein.
Here.
Thank you.
We have,
Excuse me, sorry. Just as a reminder, when you are speaking, if you could make sure that your microphone is lit red.
it went off.
Don't push that side.
Oh, sorry. Okay, starting well. Are there any changes to the agenda that commissioners have? If there aren't any, can I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. I'll second.
Do we need a roll call on that?
Commissioner Momsen?
Yeah.
Commissioner Van Wagner?
Yes.
Commissioner Knudsen?
Yes.
Vice Chair Schlelein?
Yes,
Thank you. The motion carries unanimously.
thank you. Our first item is 1.0, comments from the public. At this time, members of the public are invited to speak about any item not appearing on the agenda. I don't think we have anyone, so I'm going to roll on. Our next item is 2.0, presentations, and we have several. First, the Creative Student Artist Award recipient interviews. I think we're a bit early, aren't we?
We're early we built in this time to be able to talk about the student creative artist, introduce the item, and then also relay any information that the commission needs in advance of the student interviews, like this, delegating the questions, etc., that we can work all of that out prior to the first interview at 6:20.
Okay. So do we need a staff report then?
Certainly. 1 second. Okay, so as this body is well aware, we have the Student Creative Artist Award for a set of interviews this evening. This award was created in 1988 as the honorarium, and in 1994-95, the name was changed to the Steve Silver High School Honorarium, and then in 2002, it was named the Student Creative Artist Award. Currently, there is one award of $2,000. Additional awards can be made if there is surplus in the commission budget after the Treasure Artist reception. Since the program began in 1988, this body, the Cultural and Fine Arts Commission, has awarded over $50,000 to 79 student artists over the years. Awards have been given to students working in a variety of mediums over the years, including visual arts, animation, film production, music, cinematography, photography, dance, design, performance, theater arts, and creative writing. This award program is open to high school juniors and seniors who reside within the boundary of the Sonoma Valley Unified School District and have a strong interest in visual, literary, or performing arts. Applicants must submit an application online. That includes a 200 to 500 word artist statement explaining the role that art has played in their lives and what their plans are for continuing their artistic tradition. In addition to examples of their work, depending on their discipline, applicants are required to participate in an in-person interview with the commission, which we will be having a set of today. City staff released a press release welcoming artists to submit their works and their artist statements on February 9th, 2024, with an entry deadline of April 5th. A total of 9 qualified applications were received. We will be interviewing 4 students today. On here it says 3. There was one addition immediately following the publication of this agenda by somebody who could not attend the next opportunity for student artist interviews, which will be a special meeting on April 25th, which will also occur in this meeting room, but start at 3:30 p.m. So you all have before you as the four candidates that will be interviewed today by name. This information was also available through a Google Drive folder. There is a link on the attachment that you can find in the staff report on our Civic web portal, which is our meetings portal. And they are by name. If they had visual art, those art pieces are printed out for you as reminders. And if it was a video, there are screenshots of that video for you to cue your memory. I know all of you probably have already reviewed them and have your questions. So the way this will proceed is that the commission will ask the artist interviewees the same 5 questions. They all must be asked the same 5 questions for transparency and fairness sake. Those questions are provided to you, and we can delegate those as you wish. The chair may wish to assign those to each commissioner. And there can be follow-up questions for each question. So if there is additional information you would like or would like them to expand more on their answer, the response to their question, that is acceptable. But we do not want to add any additional questions so that everybody has the equal opportunity for that. Let's see. Any questions so far?
So for a follow-up question, do you want the commissioner that asked the question, or should we decide for the commissioner that asked the question to ask the follow-up so that we keep it?
Well, in the past, the follow-up questions have been more of a stream of consciousness. I think any commissioner is welcome to ask a follow-up question based on an answer. So you are not restricted. In my view, you're not restricted by if it is your question or not your question, including the chair, and anybody else who would like to ask a follow-up is welcome to do so.
Does anyone else have questions? Do you want to ask the same question, or would you like to rotate through the questions?
I have one question. If they had more than one entry, we're just giving them one score, one...
Yes, there was
interview.
some discussion about that, and I can have Connie expand if she would like as well, or pardon me, Commissioner Schlelein, I will get used to that. There was some discussion about that, and as this is named the Creative Student Award, the belief and feeling of the body was that it would be a holistic consideration. So if a student artist submitted, for example, a writing sample and visual arts, that would be considered in one application. If someone had just one dramatic video, that would be, but they are considered all in one rather than considering the same person for different disciplines.
And then just as far as score, say they're a writer and their writing piece was phenomenally strong, and then they're also a musician and they're just not yet there with the music. Do I average the 2 scores?
That's a good question. I think that might be a judgment call on, it's obviously going to be comparative to other students and kind of what they're pursuing, but this isn't a traditional contest. It's an award given by a body for their work and also potentially their future plans as artists. So it's not quite as strict as you would have for, say, if you were a juried show or some sort of other application.
And I think that the discussion that we have after and the way that we're going to have to process this will help us to guide that, because we are getting more mixed media now, which is nice. Having students try lots of different things is something we want in life, and encourage.
Yes, and just 2 more reminders is that because of this year we are having 2 separate interview periods. We will just be doing interviews back to back, so we will not be stopping between each to do any deliberation or discussion on a particular artist after they are done with their interview. So if the interview does not take the full time allotted, we will just have a little break, but we will try to avoid any crosstalk or desire to discuss their works or their interview at the time.
In addition, we talked about how different this process is for students than it has been in the past. Sarah and I talked about that today. And for some people that maybe aren't performance artists, they may not be as comfortable speaking in a very formal setting like this. We discussed whether they could come up here and pass work for us and that sort of thing, but it's not allowed. And we'd also discussed if we could go down and have a table where we sat with them, if that might help to be less intimidating, but that doesn't quite work with this room. And so we decided to go forward with it, but try to make them as comfortable as we can in this process and encourage a discussion instead of just a speech by them. So I think the friendlier we are and the more welcoming, the better, because we do want to favor the child, every child, and not threaten them or make them feel too tested or stressed.
And I will add that in my communication and scheduling for these interviews with the student artists, they were presented with information on what to expect. That included, of course, the date and time, the location, the room layout, what this room is used for, the fact that it's a recorded meeting, that it's open to the public, that they're welcome to sit in the audience if they're early and want to stay late. They're welcome to do so. That they will be asked a series of questions that all applicants will be asked, and in fairness to them, because the next group obviously would be able to review this material, we're provided the questions ahead of time, so they do have some that should also hopefully allay some of the unknowns for those folks and put them more at ease. So hopefully we've addressed some of those concerns which I have heard from past conversations from this body.
Do you have any thoughts on how to make them feel comfortable or any concerns about that?
No, I think that's great. It's something I wouldn't have thought of with the emailing questions before. I think it's a great learning opportunity. So I wish it was an opportunity for me, So it will be challenging with us sitting up here and nerve-wracking, but I think it's a really great learning opportunity. So.
I've made a note.
Maybe just like a little, like I'm just a fifth grade teacher. It's like, I'm not scary.
One of the things we've talked about is for you to introduce yourself.
Yeah.
As you give your question, then introduce yourself and say those sorts of things. I mean, your art background, you were a student here. Anything that really helps them, because some of them will be nervous.
And I knew if we talked long enough, I'd remember the last thing I meant to mention. One more note is, obviously we live in a small town and a small valley, and you don't have to look very far before you recognize somebody, or their parents, or maybe you've even seen their work in some capacity or saw a show or of some of the folks who we will be interviewing. So we need to do our best to assess them based on what they submitted, even if we know about their work in a greater capacity, that we can certainly know that, but try not to let that impact your decision on their award, whether or not they're the award recipients. So try to keep your assessment to what they have submitted in their interview process.
The other note is that because we're recording this, it will help the commissioners that aren't here to be able to catch up, so that we can, as we come back together next week, that everybody's able to hear the same things. May not be as perfect, but it's actually working out nicely compared to the way we used to do it in the back room. Mm-hmm. So we're still early, and our first recipient or our first applicant isn't here yet. Anything else? The rubrics always can use work they're constantly being revised. It was our first stab last year, and we're using them this year again. So if you see things that just bug you or if they need to be changed, I think we should continue to refine how we're doing. We got very broad and very simple last time, but we're going to learn a lot. So take notes on how to improve this process, because that always helps. Maybe we just take a few minutes to look over the artwork too, and read the artist statements so we're ready for them.
I feel like a lot of the students answered number 2 in their artist statement, and it's almost like we didn't read what you wrote. Tell us again. Is there a way we can like rephrase that? Or I guess we already gave them the questions, so just go for it.
We did give them the questions, but I think that's a good note that I will make a note for next year. Yeah, we did not review the questions when we went through the student creative artist process, and I feel like we could definitely do that next year.
We could do a good job of following up on that one, though, as we refine it.
Yeah, same with number 1. Share some of them, please.
Mm-hmm.
She interviewed last year at the EOC, so she was waiting at the other door.
Nice to meet you all.
Welcome.
Thank
You're
you.
Genevieve, right?
Yes.
Genevieve Smith. And we have to ask for public comment, but there's no one here to publicly comment.
Yeah, you don't have to ask between each interview, so
Just at the first.
we can do it at the end.
At the end.
Yes.
Okay, will do. And welcome back, because
Thank
you've
you.
already done this once, so
Yes.
that's really good. It's a little bit more formal this time, and that's because we have to be public. It's a public body, so I would be a little intimidated personally, standing there when we're all standing up here instead of sitting up here instead of around tables like we did last year. So welcome. We're excited you've applied. And pronouns you prefer?
It's just she, her.
Okay, thank you. And we are going to ask you, we have 5 questions.
Perfect.
And we're going to ask you in a sequential order that everyone gets. And so we'll introduce ourselves as we ask. Commissioner?
Okay. Welcome, Genevieve.
Thank you so
My name's Scott Van Wagner.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm an artist, professional musician, so I have a lot of respect for the arts. My younger brother is actually a gallerist, and he's a painter, and my older brother's an actor. So got a lot of art going on in my family.
Seriously.
And it's nice to see you here and participating in this competition.
Thank
Now,
you
this
for
may
having
be
me.
getting ahead of everything, but the first question is, if you were to win the award, how would it impact you and your future goals?
It would definitely help with college tuition. I think it would go straight to that or to something to help me while I'm in college. So one thing I'd really like to have is a camera. So I would either go straight to tuition or to have a camera because I'm planning on going into film and media.
Great. So you've already made that decision, huh? You're going to go
Yes.
full speed ahead?
Yeah, I haven't chosen a school yet, though. Still deciding.
What do you have in mind?
Right now, I'm like between UC Santa Barbara and UC Berkeley. I'm not sure which one to pick yet.
Great choices. Yeah.
Thank you.
So what motivated the work that you did? We've read your artist statement, obviously, but it seems like you're really motivated. And what turns you on? What made you do the pieces you're doing?
For the art ones, like the musicians, I just love music. And I think I wrote in my paragraph that when my teacher asked what question we should think about, it was something that we should be really passionate about. And music has always been that for me. And classic rock is clearly one of my favorite genres, so I've just been going with that all year. And then for video, I just really love being able to capture the memories. I think it's so cool, like showing people what I get to see and then seeing their reactions to that. That's my favorite part.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Morgan.
Hey, nice to meet you.
I went to the high school and did all the art classes there as well. I'm a 5th grade teacher now.
Oh.
Totally not intimidating or scary. So, what do you think is your strongest work, and why do you think that's your strongest piece?
This year, I actually made a documentary for the girls' varsity basketball team. And so I got to spend the whole season with them. I went to practices. I went to all of their games. And I think that was my favorite just because it was about 20 minutes long at the end. And they showed it at their end-of-season banquet.
Huh.
And seeing all the parents and the players cry at the end, I shouldn't say that's my favorite part, but seeing their reactions was really cool. So I'm pretty proud of that one.
Hi, thank you. I'm Meredith Knudsen.
Nice to meet you.
I'm an artist as well and work in the arts, so it's really nice to see you here again, coming back. What projects are you currently working on?
I'm working on a baseball documentary for the boys varsity baseball team. And then I've been filming lacrosse at my school. I've been filming softball, boys volleyball, just swim, all the ones that are going on right now. I've been making little videos for them. And me and a few other students in my video class. We've actually, one of them is interviewing later, I think, Audrielle. I don't know if you know him. But we were planning on getting together for the end of our senior year and making one big movie together. So that's what I'm most excited for. Yeah.
Awesome.
So is there anything that you'd like to share with us in particular to let us know more about you?
I mean, I have a YouTube account. Has all my videos on it. And that's Jen Filmed, if you want to look that up. I have one video that I submitted to the Film Fest this year, or the Student Film Fest, and it has around 10,000 views now, so that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
What kind of film was it?
It's a horror film, or like psychological horror. It wasn't that scary, I don't think, but maybe that's just because I worked on it so long.
So I'm Connie, by the way. I didn't introduce myself, Connie Schlelein, and I was a former art teacher, high school and college. It's interesting to watch your pieces because they're quite different. You're working in visual art and also video. Mm-hmm. And your future goals, I'd like to follow up on that question. How are you going to resolve those? Because it's like you're going in kind of a journalistic direction.
Yeah.
And you're also doing a lot of drawing on many things, and including tattoos and a number of things. Your future goals, how do you right now, how do you envision that?
Well, I will end up going to one of those schools for film and media studies. So I'm hoping to get more of like a background in film in that. And then I'm hoping to get an internship while there. And I'm thinking I'll choose Santa Barbara because it's closer to the film industry. And then hopefully just being able to maybe film sports in college or something. Just follow up on that. And then hopefully get a job in the future filming. Just anything. I'm not really sure on what I want to do yet, but being a director of photography sounds really cool. That'd be the dream.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions for us?
I don't think so. Not at the moment. Thank you so much.
Thanks for taking the time and trying.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Good luck to you.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Maggie's here and waiting. We're going to let her have a seat for a couple minutes.
So, Maggie Brown, do you want to come on up? Welcome.
Hi.
This is the Cultural and Fine Arts Commission. We're missing a few commissioners tonight, but we have enough. And this is being videotaped so that our missing commissioners can hear what you have to say.
Okay.
We don't want you to feel intimidated. I would be personally if I was you, because we look so official up here and like, a little elite, but we're not. We're actually kind of just real. So, and we are going to ask you 5 questions. Mm-hmm. We will ask everyone the same 5 questions, and then we will be interviewing the rest of the candidates next week.
Okay.
So just relax. It's a discussion, not a big deal. Which pronouns do you prefer?
She, her.
Thank you. And we will start with the first question.
Okay.
My name is Connie Schlelein. I'm a former art teacher and art professor, and I'm an artist. And my mother was an artist and still is. And I was a student artist, a high school student artist, so I applied for lots of scholarships and awards, and so I know how it feels. If you were to win this award, how would it impact you and your future goals?
It would impact me by, I guess, allowing me to continue art, but also to use different mediums, because I really want to go into oil paintings, and I haven't done that before because I usually stick with acrylic, so I feel like that would be really fun to do. But it would also just feel nice to win, I guess. It would make my art feel seen.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Morgan. I was this kid in this town. I did all the art classes at the high school. I went on to get an art degree, and now I teach 5th grade. Super not intimidating. What motivated you to submit the pieces you chose?
I really wanted to share my art because, to me, I like painting landscapes, but for me, I paint those landscapes so that other people can feel like they've been there without actually having to go there. And I thought, well, I might as well submit and allow them to feel that way too.
Thank you. I'm Meredith Knudsen. I'm an artist. I have my bachelor's in fine arts, and I work in public art, managing public art programs. What do you think is your strongest work, and why?
My strongest work was one of the works I submitted. I titled it Mountain Valley, and I feel like it is my strongest work because, to me, I took the most time on it and put the most effort into it, and I feel it looks the most realistic of my paintings. It also happens to be my favorite one, but yeah, that one's my...
Thank you.
My name is Scott Van Wagner. I'm a musician, artist. Thank you for coming and for submitting your art. What are you currently working on?
Currently, I'm working on another landscape painting, and in this one, I am adding a lake and a cabin, and I haven't added those into my paintings before, so I'm excited to see how that turns out.
And the last question, although we'll have some follow-up questions, is there anything you would like to share with us? What do we need to know about what you're about?
I guess just thank you for having me here, and thank you for allowing me to share my art. Yeah.
Commissioners, follow-up questions?
Yeah, I have a question about the lake and the cabin, because you've never painted those before. Who is guiding you? Do you have a mentor?
Well, I don't want to say mentor, but a lot of my art is based off of like Bob Ross painting style, because during COVID, we weren't allowed to watch TV during the day unless it was educational. And so my mom deemed that watching Bob Ross was educational. So that's how I learned how to paint. So, and a lot of his paintings include like little buildings or bodies of water. So that's kind of what I was going for.
A question, and maybe you did put it in your application. What size are your paintings?
They're small-ish. They're like I think 7 or 5 by 7. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for us?
I don't think so. Yeah.
I have a follow-up question for future goals. How do you see painting or doing artwork factoring into who you're going to be in the future? How are you going to use these things?
I would like like in college, I would like to study anthropology and more specifically cultural anthropology. And with that, I would like to work in a museum conserving art. So I feel like me being an artist would help me with that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Your
You're
work
welcome.
was beautiful.
I'm in contact with the next interviewee, so they are parking now. So they are they're open to being interviewed a little early.
Welcome.
Yeah. Nice to meet you. Yeah, of course.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Good.
Good. We weren't quite sure. So great. Okay. Welcome. This is a little intimidating, I'm sure. We don't want it to be, and we're all artists and understand what it must be like to be there. But we are Cultural and Fine Arts Commission, and we'll be interviewing 4 people tonight, and then the other 5 next week. So we're going to ask you a series of questions. How would you like your pronouns pronounced?
She, her.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
And we will ask the same questions of all the contestants.
Okay.
So Morgan's going to start, and she'll tell you a little about herself.
Hi, I'm Morgan. I went to Sonoma Valley High, took all the art classes. Wish I knew about the award at the time. Thank you for coming. Jumping right to it, if you were to win the award, how would it impact you and your future goals?
I think if I were to win the award, it would help me pursue my art career, and I think if I were to win it, it would push me to be a better artist. I want to try new things and apply different kinds of techniques into my art, and I think if I were to win this, it would help me, I don't know, broaden maybe my horizon and try new things I've never tried before. And along with my future goals, I think if I were to be acknowledged for it, it would be like, I want to try like maybe like public murals or something, and I think acknowledgement towards that would help me reach out to other places.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Meredith Knudsen.
Nice to meet
I'm
you.
an artist myself. Started off just in high school as well, taking all the art classes. Went on and got my degree in studio art, and now I manage public art programs.
That's really cool.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, of course.
What motivated you? What motivated the pieces that you submitted?
All the pieces I've submitted, they've been over the course of this year, and I'm in AP Art, and we use a question to guide our art throughout the year. And a question I chose was, how can I incorporate popular movies into my own original art? And I chose that theme because I think movies can be a really strong connection with people. And within my art, I want to do more of like, I don't know, I think with popular media and stuff like that, if someone were to recognize it, I think it'd be add more like a feeling to the art. And even if they haven't seen it, they can take it into their own consideration and value it with that. So I think that's what motivated me.
Great, thank you.
Hi, Tessa. I'm Scott Van Wagner. Like your name, my wife's name is Tess. So, yeah. My question is, what do you think is your strongest work, and why do you think that?
I think my strongest work is a painting I did of an artist I like, Jimi Hendrix. I did it. I think it's my strongest work because it took me a long time to plan it out and just organize all of it. I stretched the canvas and I sketched the image and I had to project it onto the canvas. And it took me a lot of time, but the end result is just what makes me happy about it because you get to see how much time and effort you put into it. So I think that's why it's my favorite piece.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite of your pieces too.
Thank you.
How large is it?
I think it's around 48 by 47 inches.
I'm Connie Schlelein. I'm a former art teacher,
Nice
art
to meet you.
professor, and an artist myself, and was a student artist and tried doing lots of things like you're doing today. What are you currently working on, and what are you into?
What I'm currently working on, so in my AP art class, we've moved past our investigation question, and now we're allowed to move on to different things and just like new aspects. So throughout this whole year, I've been doing movies, and so I've kind of wanted to try something different. I've been working on a self-portrait with acrylic paint, and I'm using like sort of like a thermal like sort of coloring to it to add like different emotions and values onto the art.
Before I ask my question, going back to the size, are all your pieces around that size?
No, that
Okay.
one, just the really big one I did it over spring break, so that's why that one's really large. But my other pieces, they're mostly around like 12 by 18 inches, so not as big as that one. But I do like working on bigger canvases more. I feel like you can add more detail to it.
Very cool. Is there anything else you would like to share with us or want us to know about you or your art?
Well, I haven't been doing art for that long. I just started freshman year, but even with only doing it for around 2 years, it's had a really big impact on my life. I think with art, you can really portray your emotions and your values and just everything like that. It's really a gateway to yourself, I think. Thank you.
At this time, commissioners will ask follow-up questions to the 5 questions.
Okay.
Commissioners?
I have a question, and sorry if you touched upon it somewhere else. You mentioned the self-portrait with acrylic paint, which I'd love to see when that's done. What material, is this acrylic paint as well?
Yeah,
Your portraits?
it's acrylic
Okay.
paint.
I have a question. Tessa, how have you been able to share your art with other people up until this point?
Well, I haven't really publicly shared it yet, but upcoming in a week at my school, we're doing an art fair where every single art student gets to pick around, I think, 5 to 6 pieces they want to put up. And I think that's what I'm going to do, to show my school my art.
Great.
Related to your future goals and the thing you said earlier about wanting to push yourself and try different techniques and try to learn new things, do you have any ideas about how you might go about learning? Since you're so new at doing art, what would be helpful for you?
I think what would be helpful is that I have an older sister who's also really into art. She's been doing art for a while, and she's also done murals and stuff like that, and she's helped me with my art, with proportions. I've really struggled with that, proportions and faces. So I think having her as like a mentor is really, really helpful, and I'm really grateful for that. And so I think with her help, she could help me move on to more difficult subjects. Like I want to try like oil pastels, I think are really cool, and I really also like watercolor. So I want to try and do stuff like that.
Do you have any questions for us?
I don't think so, but I'm really glad to be here. It's such a cool experience.
Thank you. Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much, and
Of
we wish you
course.
lots
All right.
of luck.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you.
for submitting.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thanks. I believe our next candidate is here, Noah. We've seen you on the videos, so it's fairly easy to know who we're looking at here. We are asking 5 questions, the same 5 questions to all of the candidates. We will have interviewed 4 tonight and interview the final 5 next week. A number of our commissioners are not here, but this is being videotaped, so they'll be able to listen to you and learn about you. And we continue to do these interviews because it actually really helps us dimensionally, I think, fill out a lot of questions. The work is wonderful, but it also really helps us get to know you better. We don't want to be intimidating. This is a little formal setting. We would prefer more casual, but you being a performing artist, you'll probably be fine. Anyway, we're all artists ourselves, and so it's hopefully not too traumatizing for you. And which pronouns would you prefer?
He, him.
Thank you. And do I start this time? Meredith, okay. Commissioner of Art.
Hi, I'm Meredith. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming.
Nice to meet you.
I'm an artist myself, and I work managing public art programs. And I love the music aspect of your submission. So if you were to win this award, how would it impact you and your future goals?
I've always loved classical music. I guess it would kind of prove to me that I could do it, because I know a lot of people who are really talented. Like last summer, I met this kid. He played the Barber Violin Concerto like perfectly, and it was at a master class, and the teachers couldn't give him any advice on how to improve it. So that was something. Destroyed my self-esteem, but so yeah, it would kind of prove to me that maybe I have a future in this. And then also with the prize money, I just started taking viola lessons with a teacher named Liz Cooper this summer. But she's been telling me that I need to get like a new viola teacher, because she's more used to teaching like really young children. So she's saying that I'm like outgrowing her. So if I were to get a new teacher, it would be a lot more expensive, because she's from the Midwest, and she's like, yeah, I charge Midwest prices, but this is not the Midwest. So there's that. It could also go towards my education. I am taking SRJC classes right now. I took one in piano during the summer, and then right now I'm in their orchestra. So I'm planning on going to Sonoma State, and I could put the money towards that. And then also, I don't own the viola that I'm using right now. It belongs to Vivo, where I started learning and now where I work. So once I graduate, I would have to get my own viola.
Great, thank you.
Hey, good evening, Noah. Yeah, my name is Scott Van Wagner. I'm also a musician, jazz saxophonist, and my wife is a classical cellist. So we have a lot of music going on in our house, and it's nice to see you here and submitting your work for consideration. My question to you is, what motivated the piece that you submitted?
Michael, he's a cellist at Vivo. He told me about this, and I happened to be working on that piece. I was working on some other stuff as well, but when he asked me about it, and we started talking about what I should play, and we agreed on that one, because he said it kind of has like a shimmer to it. It's interesting to listen to. It's not the most technically difficult piece that I know, but it does sound really good. Like some of the other ones I know, like they're hard, but they don't sound that impressive. They just kind of sound boring. So I thought that one was exciting. It's a standard of viola repertoire, so we're expected to know it. Like no matter who you are, if you play viola, if you don't know it, then they'll look at you weirdly. But so yeah, really well known. That's probably the most well known movement. Maybe the third, but the second one, it's it's really enjoyable to listen to. I didn't have an accompanist, but it's probably my favorite movement, so that's why I chose it.
Great, thank you.
What do you think your strongest work you've done is, and why?
Strongest work, it would probably be, so I learned of a Vivaldi violin concerto transcribed for viola. It wasn't the Four Seasons, it was in D minor, which is not the Four Seasons, I don't believe. So that one, it was just really difficult because of it has a lot of fast arpeggios, which you see a little bit in the one that I submitted, but I think that one, it turned out pretty well. I haven't played it in a little bit, but I also, the pieces that I play at the SRJC, I think are also really good because they've helped me to grow. Like in one of our last concerts, there was a piece by a Chinese composer called As the Heart Soars, and it had really difficult rhythms that you don't usually see in Western classical music, so that helped me to grow, because the way that I learned how to play, I was never really strong with rhythms, until one of the people at Vivo pointed out that it's kind of math, like it's fractions on the page. That made me get a little better, but the things that we're playing at the SRJC, they're a lot more interesting and like diverse than the stuff that we played at Vivo, because that was meant for like you're in a classroom of 30 kids and you're a single teacher and you're trying to teach them all, so they couldn't be too ambitious with like hard rhythms. So it's helped me grow in that way.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Morgan. I work at El Verano, so I know all about Vivo. So thank you for now being a teacher. It really warms my heart that you started at Vivo. I have a lot of respect for those kids as someone with zero musical talent. What are you currently working on?
Music-wise, at the JC, we're doing a comedy show next. So we're doing stuff by like PDQ Bach. It's Beethoven's Fifth, but it has sports commentary over it. We're doing like the Pink Panther theme. Like there's this thing where Bugs Bunny conducts an orchestra in the cartoon, so we're playing the music from that, and I think we're gonna have a projector with him conducting, so that'll be fun. At Vivo right now we're learning the Brandenburg Concerto for a string trio. I play viola, then Michael, the teacher, is going to play cello, and then Victoria Hernandez is playing violin on that. And then also for Vivo, I'm working on a solo piece by Bach. It's from his G major cello suite, Sarabande. It's not super fast or flashy, but it has a lot of chords that are hard not to crunch. And then just personally, I'm working on the last two movements of the concerto that I sent you, and then for fun, a piece by Eric Coates called First Meeting. It's more of a like romantic piece, so it's has a lot of heavy vibrato. It's not really helping my technique, that's why I say it's just for fun, but I really like that piece.
Just before I go back to Meredith, just earlier you said how someone performed and the teachers had nothing to say and it hurt your self-esteem. Just know you learn the most when you're getting feedback and making mistakes. So I know it feels good, but you get better when there is some feedback.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
I'm just thankful to be here. It's been a really good experience. It gave me like a goal to work towards, because we perform every once in a while and I have the SRJC, but for my own personal like pieces that I'm playing, I just kind of learn them and then I never get to perform them anywhere. So this was a good chance for that. So thank you.
Follow-up questions, commissioners?
Yeah, no, I have a question for you. I'm interested in knowing more about your goal of buying a viola when you win the award and you have, the $2,000 in your back pocket. What kind of research have you done or will you do to investigate?
We've checked out different sizes. Oh, is this finally picking me up? We've checked out different sizes of violas. I have pretty long arms, so the guy at the store said, I can basically play whatever one I want. They don't really make anything past like an 18-inch viola, and those are really rare. So, because there's no such thing as like a full-size viola. So, size-wise, I'd probably go for like a 17-inch viola, because 18 would be a little hard to manage. And then makers, there's a couple shops near us that have pretty nice instruments, so I'd probably just look around there, find one that I like. It wouldn't, like, I wouldn't spend the $2,000 on the viola, because I would put some of that towards like education or lessons, and then some of that towards the viola, because I don't need a $2,000 viola. So
Yet you will. Yeah.
they do get expensive.
Yeah. Well, the selection process, can be pretty challenging. I mean, to try and test.
Yeah. When my sister, she plays cello, like when she got her new cello, I went with her so that I could like stand back like into the other room and see if it would project well. So I might ask her to do that. Other than that, I guess finger spacing would be the biggest deal, because the one I play right now is actually a little too small for me. So I just have to get used to not being able to play octaves super easily. But yeah, I mean, I've done some research into violas, but I would definitely have to do more before I bought one.
Yeah. And do you have a list of dealers
I know
that you respect?
There's Ifshin violins and what was the other one?
Are they local?
There's one in Santa Rosa, Loveland. Those two, I believe I've been to both at least once, and they were good shops, so I think I'd probably buy from there. There's also one in San Francisco, which is where my sister bought her cello, which they're really good. So one of those three places probably, because
Great. Good. Yeah, you want to take your time, definitely. And most of them will give you an opportunity to take the instrument home with you, if you really like it, before you buy it, so that you can have it for a week or two.
Rent to buy, so like you could rent the instrument for a while,
yeah.
and then you can put the money that you rented into buying it later. So that's also something that I would definitely look into.
Great.
A follow-up question for the first question, future goals. Obviously, you have lots of goals and have been achieving them. How does music factor into your life, your future life? I've heard you're multi-talented.
Sometimes.
You have many avenues to pursue. How does music factor in?
I guess right now for me, at school, I only have academic classes because one of my friends convinced me to not take any electives. Besides like Spanish, but that doesn't count. So right now it's the way that I express myself, and it kind of has been, but I started really taking it seriously freshman year. Like during COVID, I couldn't really motivate myself to play much, but then freshman year, I was like, okay, I'll finally get to it. So I've been trying to practice every day. It's just become a habit. It's definitely built some good habits in me. Later on, I might want to teach viola. I love playing in an orchestra, so that could also be something that I do, but I think teaching would be something that I would definitely want to look into doing later in life.
Thank you. Other questions?
Do you have any questions for any of us?
I don't think so.
Sounds like you've been very busy.
Very insightful.
Building your repertoire.
Oh.
Daily, huh?
Yeah. I'll miss like one day every once in a while, but I try and practice at least a little bit every day, because I got like a practice tracker on my phone, so it like keeps me accountable. I can't say like, oh, I practiced enough today, and it says like 30 minutes, like, which is more than I used to do, I guess, before high school. But like now that won't cut it. Like if I don't practice at least an hour a day, then I actually get worse than I was the day before. So
Thank you very much. This
Thank
was
you.
very inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
We have public comment at the end, if there's any public comment. And moving on, our next item is 2.2, the Celebration of Trees Earth Day Photography Contest Presentation. I believe our Senior Management Analyst Public Information Officer will give us an update.
That she will. Thank you all. I just wanted to give you a short presentation on a contest that the city has been running for a number of years now. It is the Earth Day photo contest. So I am going to be navigating through the website. I figured that'd be the best way to do it. One of the great reasons I wanted to present this to you this evening, they're going to be working on it. I can see Monique working on that. Once it's up, I'll start navigating. I promise you won't miss anything. But I can give you a little background. So the Earth Day photo contest actually was born out of necessity. When COVID hit and the first shutdown came, it came right before Earth Day. And the city had been planning a number of activities and ways for people to get involved in Earth Day with our sustainability coordinator at the time. And all of that was stopped. And we tried to put our heads together and say, is there anything we can do to still get people engaged and thinking about nature and the world around them and the Earth Day spirit without leaving their backyards or maybe even being able to see outside of their windows. So that was really the first inspiration, is we thought we could do a photo contest. Everybody has cameras now on their phones. You know, there was a lot of people taking pictures of things out their windows and literally from their backyard. So that was the initial inspiration, and we first thought, well, that was really fun. We got it was a fun thing to do. Everybody was glued to their phones and social media because it was our only way of connecting at the time during COVID. Remember that? We thought it would just be a one-timer, and then, well, COVID kept going on a little bit, so we decided maybe another year, and then it kind of became a trend. So we decided to continue with the effort. And so here we are 4 years later, and it has grown. The last 2 years we've had more of a theme. The theme last year was park exploration, which was kind of based on a number of things that the city was doing. This year was the celebration of trees theme. So the, is it up yet? Okay, we'll wait a little while, and then I will show you. So the reason why it's exciting today is because today online voting opened. So it is a public voting online opportunity. We had 45 entries this year. That was the largest amount of entries we've gotten, which is really exciting. I think trees are winning idea, in case anybody is wondering about there. And a great variety of works. There is absolutely no barrier to entry other than needing to be able to upload the file, which of course might be a barrier to some, but we encouraged anybody of any level of expertise or lack thereof to submit their photo. So we have a really wonderful selection of those. I'm just going to wait 1 second, make sure I'm not in the way of activity.
Yes.
In case anybody ever wanted to know what that room is on the side, that is where our saviors sit, the tech folks. So this, if you don't know, sorry, haven't used a mouse in a while.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Oh, we're supposed to turn on our monitors.
Oh, thank you. Yes, you can turn. Oh, yes, you do not see those on those. So thank you for turning on your monitors if you haven't already. You will need them for the next presentation as well. So this, if you don't know, which I'm sure you all are very familiar with this website and can't get enough of it, this is the City of Sonoma website homepage. There are two ways currently to get to the information and to the voting opportunity for this. The first is in our little city news area. We have a article here that was written today about that. Links are in there. We also have something called frequently requested, which is just kind of things that people, hot ticket items for the city. So you can get to the same place either way. I keep losing there it is. So all you have to do is click on it. You will get to the page that has information about the photography contest there. Has a little more information about the fact that online voting obviously is open till the 21st. That's the day before Earth Day, so everybody get in and do it before then. The winners will be announced on Earth Day, and then they will be recognized at the first farmers market of the season on May 7th. It is coming up so quick, you guys. So they have a chance to win a Sonoma County Regional Parks membership, which is like we used to call it a Parks Pass, or a local business gift certificate. So stay tuned on that. So to view the online gallery and vote for your favorite, you just click right there and you will be brought to this page that has the full all of the uploaded in the order that they are received photos. And I'm going to do a very quick run through so that you can see how you would view them. So we have a gallery here. They're what's called thumbnails. If you click on the first one, you will get a full-size view of that, and you can navigate through to see all of the entries. The names of the image and the artist that submitted it are at the bottom, so make notes of your favorites because that's how you will vote for them, and what I'll show you in a minute. But we really did get a tremendous selection, even by maybe some folks on the spotty. So very excited to have a lot of participation. And the goal with this, with the trees especially, is people interpret it in a lot of different ways, but had from a lot of, as you can see, different seasons, certainly different forms, urban trees, trees in nature, lots of pathways, different seasons. It's really, and of course, the one thing I neglected to mention, the requirement was that the photo be taken in Sonoma Valley. Not within specifically in City of Sonoma limits, but in Sonoma Valley. And as you can see, we got quite a selection, which I think I'm always very excited to see how people interpret, and I'm sure all of you do as well. So as they just keep going, I currently have them wallpapering my cubicle, and I can tell you, no one can walk by there without wanting to come in and look at them closer and make comments and tell me about them, which ones they like, and this one's interesting, and I didn't notice that one. And it's just really gratifying to see that so many folks responded, and I know some of you were instrumental in that, in helping spread the word, so thank you for that effort. And I am just going to go through because there's a few more. I hate to not give everybody airtime as we go. And I would be remiss if I did not mention that this will probably be mentioned a little later as well, but these works will be printed for our next art show in this room here. So that will be what takes the place of the current exhibit, which we're very excited for. So that's all the works. To vote online, all you need to do is click that little Vote Online Now button. It brings you to this very handy form. And this is where it comes in handy when you noted which name of the photograph. It has a list of all those in the same order that they appeared. You select whichever one. I'm not going to select one because that would be unfair, even just for show, with your name and email, and then of course sign up for our newsletter option there, and you submit, and voila. you have voted. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I encourage everybody to vote. I will be putting it out through social media and all the city's channels, but any help amplifying that would be wonderful. And if anybody is ever curious, we also keep the former, all the contests of the past are all exhibited online there as well. If you're just curious to look at past winners from past years, it's been interesting what themes arise in that. So those are all available to you as well. And that is all I have for my presentation, unless you have any questions or anything you'd like to add.
Commissioners, any questions, comments? This is outstanding.
Yeah.
I think it's really going to be fun to have a show, and I think that in addition, maybe we can have a little reception besides the farmers market.
That would be fun. I will make sure to invite everybody who submitted. That would be a full room, which would be awesome. The one thing I neglected to mention, which is so key, is that our website is sonomacity.org. You can also get there directly by going to sonomacity.org/earth-day-photography-contest. You got that? Everybody got that. But there are many ways to get there, and I'll hopefully make sure everybody gets the opportunity. So this is kind of a quote just for fun, which I've had a lot of fun with it. It's been a little bit just kind of my, as I like to say, my own little dog and pony show of kind of getting this out there. But having been a fan of photography myself, it's really fun to, and of course, a Sonomaphile. I love this community in the Valley, and I just love everybody's perspectives that comes through. You're just always surprised, and it's fun to see where you live and displayed in a beautiful way. So I want to really thank everybody who entered, and especially everybody who helped spread the word too.
So are these all amateurs?
They do not have to state whether they are an amateur, but I definitely recognized a few names in there of people who are not amateur.
Okay.
So as you go
really
through
open
those,
to everybody regardless.
it is open to everybody. We that is really was the goal, which I think is kind of wonderful and maybe a little bit I see in our community a lot, is that you will find people who take a pic, who have almost no formal training, sitting next to somebody who has a lot of formal training and a fancy camera, and it's everybody, they can be appreciated for their work and for what they've put into it. So
Thank you for all your work, sir. I know it was a lot, and it'd be nice to get even more students and kids involved. I think what I love about this project is it can be the pros. I mean, I saw lots of pro artists on this website this time, which we were hoping for as we reached out to the museum and different places. But it's just, the love of place and it shows. I think it's really exciting to see.
And thank you for bringing that up. I do agree. This is the first year we did not have any student or younger. We have a youth category and kind of a teen category, and we didn't have any submissions in there. That was the first year. So it really surprised me a little bit because I did do some outreach in that area. But I think that there's definitely opportunity for growth. And for those of you who didn't submit, if you had just submitted, you would have been the only one. You would have just won. So everybody could have a chance. So next year, you guys watch for it.
Public comment? I don't think so. And since we're not doing video comments then anymore, we don't have to wait for that. So our next item is 3.0, the consent calendar, and there are no consent items. So we will go on to the regular calendar item 4.0. And 4.1 is the Vintage Festival Poster Contest with the Senior Management Analyst Staff Report, Lisa Janson.
Schlelein. So tonight I'm here to talk about a project that's dear to me and it's something that we launched last year alongside the Sonoma Valley Vintners and Growers Alliance, which was bringing back the annual poster contest that's been part of the Vintage Festival for more than 50 years. So tonight I would like to give just a little bit of background. One, Sarah and I had the We met with the executive director, Robin Sebastiani, a couple weeks ago, and so we kind of talked about key themes and things that we'd like to see carried through. And so tonight's presentation is to kind of bring you up to speed quickly on that, and then give it kind of a rough outline or a proposed project schedule, and then move into kind of next steps. So with that said, whoops, do I have to, can we, there we go. So I kind of covered most of this, but really what I wanted to say with this slide, one is the history is there on the slide with the different vintages of the posters that you see, but two, we couldn't have done it last year without you and your help. So with that, I would like to go on to the proposed project schedule for the contest this year. So we're looking at trying to open up the entries on April the 26th. May 1st, we want to launch the poster contest officially. We're going to follow it with a proclamation given at the Farmers Market to Valley of the Moon Vintage Festival. It's the Year of the Farmer. For those that aren't aware, it's the 200th anniversary of the first planting of grapes here in Sonoma Valley. So we have a lot to celebrate this year. There will be a new logo that's being created. It's going to be done, I think, around April the 18th, so this week. And that logo will carry through this year's Vintage Festival. And then I believe what's going to happen is we're going to transition to year 2 and year 3 with additional themes. So as we go from planting the grapes to the celebration of the vintners and then the celebration of the community that kind of sprung up from this momentous occasion of the first planting here in Sonoma Valley. So with that said, July 26th, we like to close the online submission deadlines, and really our thought in doing it, it's about 4 days earlier, I think, than last year's, but we need a little bit more time in order to get kind of the voting coordinated. The way the voting has worked last year was we created an ad hoc of the CFAC, and then the ad hoc committee actually went through all the submissions and kind of narrowed it down to 3 to 5 entries, and then the board, the Sonoma Valley Vintners and Growers Alliance board, then sits down and they actually pick the poster winner from there. So we're proposing that we do the same process. In end of August, we're looking to try to get this chamber transitioned over and do another chamber art show, showcasing all of the art. So something new this year that we're asking for is we're asking the artist to actually submit a framed copy of the artwork. So if it's a digital print, it would be a framed digital print. If it's an oil painting, it would be a framed oil painting, so that we can have them here on display inside the council chambers as an exhibit. And then we'd like to, it's potential in here, but we'd like to announce the winner of the poster contest on September 4th during the city council chamber or city council meeting. Just again, trying to highlight and give some attention to the individuals that have participated in the contest, but also acknowledge the winner for this year, sorry. And then again, the Valley of the Moon Vintage Festival event sells the posters during the event and pre-event, and so individuals will have the ability to actually purchase a copy of the poster at the event and prior, and then after the posters set in an archive. And so if you're really interested in a previous year's poster, you can actually purchase it online. So entry requirements, we're not really changing the entry requirements this year outside of the fact that we are asking for a framed copy of the artwork in the poster size, which is 18 inches wide by 24 inches high. Again, it's an online submission form. It's hosted on the City of Sonoma's website, so Sarah will be working on a media campaign to help get the word out, and the form is on the city's website and hosted by the City of Sonoma. So again, the key entry points are the words Valley of the Moon Vintage Festival, the Sonoma Valley Vintners and Growers Alliance logo, and then this new Sonoma Valley Vintners and Growers Alliance 200th anniversary logo will be part of the actual artwork. They need to also work in the festival dates And then, like I said, along with a digital image that will be submitted as part of the submission form, they will need to drop off the framed artwork. Thank you, Monique. And then just to kind of wrap it up, the chosen artist last year received a $250 honorarium and then 2 tickets to the Legends dinner that opens up Vintage Festival. And this year it's happening on September the 27th at Gunluck Bunchu. So next steps, and Sarah, are we allowed to take action at this? Okay, because this is an actual item. Perfect. So next steps, we'd like to choose an ad hoc committee to review the entries and narrow down the submissions to 3 to 5. And we kind of leave it as a loose bracket. If there was 6, I think that was okay as well. But last year, I think we ended up with 5. The committee members must be available the week of July 29th, just so that it fits within the coordination of the project schedule. And then, of course, always we need your help in marketing the contest with all your friends and family and professional contacts, and then help with the chamber art installation the last week of August. We're going to need some help curating that. So, and outside of that, I am done with the presentation, but here to answer any questions you may have.
Commissioners, questions?
I have a question in regards to them dropping the art off. Will they receive it back? It seems to me that if they're putting money into getting it framed and it's an original painting, and then artist liability as well.
So in our actual online submission, as part of the submission process, it's going to require that they drop off to provide to the Vintage Festival, the original artwork. And then in previous years, the Vintage Festival artwork then has the ability to auction it off as part of their event, or they will find a place for it. So you're really doing it's almost like a commission piece in a.
So if they did a painting, they couldn't drop off a digital print of the painting?
We typically will ask for the original artwork.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's something we could talk about. Sarah just brought up a wonderful point. You want to go ahead?
Well, it was just a clarification because when I heard that, I was hearing maybe there's one winner, and then however many submissions. So my question was, would it be the case? Certainly, the winning art is kept. That is something that is traditionally done. They've used that and they auction it off. But I don't know about the other submissions. So that will be something we need to clarify. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Good question.
Do you think that having the artwork framed will discourage some people from applying? Do you think our entries will be smaller?
That's a good question, and we can contemplate it. I think the concern was the cost of the framing. We're not looking for anything too fancy, and so maybe we could put some clarifying language in the actual submission forms and maybe offer the ability to help individuals that financially might need some assistance. Maybe that's a good way of addressing it.
It would be nice
to level the
playing field. Mm-hmm. And also it strikes me that perhaps we could strike a deal for discounts with someone, a framer in town or something to assist them, because a lot of these pieces are beautiful and deserve to be framed, but a lot of people might hesitate at that. We certainly want to encourage them to apply.
Yeah, definitely.
Other questions, comments? So the next action would be to form an ad hoc committee if we so choose. So do I have any volunteers for Vintage Poster Festival?
I'll be on it. How many people are you looking for? 3? I'd be happy to.
I could do that too. Yeah.
And I'll do it too.
Perfect. Thank you.
Do we need to vote?
So we're looking for a motion and a second.
I motion for the recommended 3 for the Ad-Hoc committee for the Valley of the Moon Vintage Festival poster contest. Do I need to name all 3? Or?
And a second?
I'll second. It just feels weird. It's like we're voting for ourselves.
Makes it easy.
Thank you. Commissioner Momsen?
Yes.
Commissioner Van Wagner?
Yes.
Commissioner Knudsen?
Yes.
Vice Chair Schlelein?
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Do we need to do public comment? Public comment? We have somebody now.
Can the public be part of the process?
I'm not sure how. Do you want to?
Well, with public comment, we can take questions, but we don't necessarily
that's
answer them from the
correct.
dais.
Okay.
Noted.
Thank you. All right, moving right along. I think we've got all the answers that you needed. So next item is the updates of the ad hoc committees. And it's item 4.2. Public art policy is the first up. And Commissioner Navard, would you give us an update?
Knudsen.
Knudsen, sorry.
Not everyone knows.
That's true.
Thank you. Public art policy. So we're moving right along. We met with Sarah and David. I'm trying to remember the last time that we all met to review. And we really had about 5 areas that we were focusing on within the public art policy on updating. Connie, Lauren, and I have a meeting about weekly to review and divvying up tasks on this. So we passed all of our items over to Sarah. And currently right now we're working on the definitions section of it. One of the things we came across was the difference between policy and program. We have a public art program, but we don't have one actually as a department in the city, so it's a back and forth with that. And also really refining what that policy is and organizing it. So the next steps for us is we're meeting on Friday to review our definitions, which is part of the policy. It's towards the end. And then we'll reconvene with Sarah on next steps with that.
Thank you. Questions about the public art policy? So the next step and the next update is for the utility box project. And again, Meredith, do you want to give us an update?
Thanks. It's moving right along also. So we met with Sarah and reviewed some items that Deb, Scott, and I had questions on what those next steps would look like, putting together a call for the utility box program. So we are going to be meeting on Friday also, and we're going to start to draft a call for art for that. And once we have all of our ideas together now, and we're going to give that to Sarah to review, and then once it's more finalized, we would bring that to the commission.
Questions on this? I have one.
Mm-hmm.
So as I've seen the Springs projects happening and they're actually painting on those, is what you envision different?
Ours would be wrapped. So we'd be going through a vendor like Signorama or Fast Signs, ideally locally, but I'm not sure if a local printer that does those. To wrap those. I don't know the longevity of paint and what touch-up looks like with that. I haven't done those myself or managed that myself, but ours would be wrapped.
Other questions?
Will there be any theme, or is it just a call for art?
That's a good question. So some of the boxes are Caltrans boxes, and they have requirements regarding the art that's put on theirs. And I don't have it in front of me, but it's sort of like a historic, there's a guideline that it has to follow. It's a pretty broad theme. So when we meet on Friday, that's what we're looking at is what type of theme do we want. We've been reviewing a lot of other towns and cities because it's becoming quite popular to do this. And do they do themes? Do they do local artists, regional, national? Because the files are delivered digitally, it does allow us for larger outreach. But also we're contemplating, do we want to stay local with this project? So.
And always I'll ask about students and involving them if there's a thought about that.
Yeah, we have talked about that, and I think it would be great to open it up. But again, that would be in the call and the requirements, and that we wouldn't move forward with it without everyone's input on that.
Great, thank you. Sounds exciting. We're finally getting somewhere. And Commissioner Momsen, will you give us a report on the rotating art exhibition in the City Council chambers? We've heard a little bit today about a few things.
Some spoilers happening. So the Earth Day contest, which you all saw the photos of, that will be next, coming up in the chambers, hopefully May. Those 45 pictures will be lining the walls. And then after that, the Vintage Festival posters framed, the original art, will be the show following that in September till the end of the year, when we'll then honor our year's treasure artist and student artist for the end of this year, beginning of next, honoring Victor and whichever student wins the award. Do you guys have questions?
No? Sounds great. Thank you. Public comments? I think we're moving on to item 7.0, city staff comments and announcements. Are there further? You guys have done a lot already tonight.
Yeah, I think maybe I've had enough airtime personally, but nothing more to add, just an appreciation for everyone. As you have all mentioned, there's been a lot of work going on Ad-Hocs, like real work. I mean, real work. And I'm very appreciative of all that work, and I'm really looking forward to getting my teeth cut on this art policy and the chamber art. Everything is just moving, and it's really gratifying. So thank you for that. Other than that, just so you know, from the city side of things, we're headed into our where we really put our nose to the grindstone when it comes to budget. That is something that we are all going to be preoccupied with in the next month. And City Council will have some budget sessions, so sometimes folks like to attend those to understand how the budget is put together, and then that is on the fiscal calendar, so they approve that in June, just so you are aware. Other than that, thank you all for this, and I look forward to the special meeting and seeing the rest of our student artists. Thank you.
And point of order, I missed the commissioner's reports and extra comments. Being a rookie, it's obvious. So am I allowed to go back? Okay. So is there any additional reports, things you'd like to discuss? We've done a lot tonight, so lots of voices in the room. Thank you, guys. And we have a staff report for 7.1, nominations for chair and the elections.
Thank you, commissioners. As you know, annually, this commission conducts reorganization and appoints a chair and vice chair to serve for the year. On your meeting on February 20th, that did happen. However, due to some relocations of a member, now we have the chair position open once again. So how this will go is I will go ahead, once you're ready, I will open the floor for nominations. All nominations do not require a second. However, you're more than welcome to voice your support. Once there are no more nominations left, we'll go ahead and declare nominations have been closed and allow for any public comment. We'll go ahead and start with the first nomination and do a roll call. Beginning with the first one, as I said, if that nominee receives a majority vote, they are declared the winner and no additional votes are taken on the remaining nominees. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Otherwise, we can go ahead and begin.
Nominations.
I nominate Connie for chair.
Second.
Third.
Okay, if there are no more nominations, we will go ahead and close that and allow for any public comment. Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and do roll call. Commissioner Momsen,
Yes.
Commissioner Van Wagner,
Yes.
Commissioner Knudsen,
Yes.
and Vice Chair Schlelein.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries unanimously. You are now chair. And just as a heads up, due to how this was agendized, we will not be taking a motion on the vice chair. We will go ahead and do that in the next special session, or the special meeting on the 25th.
Thank you. Well, I made a lot of mistakes tonight, but you guys forgave me.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think we are adjourned to go watch a basketball game.
Yeah. Right.